Hello, I'm Bill Bailey, and this is Comics Choice, where I ask some of my favourite comedians to choose some of their favourite comedians. It's quite simple, isn't it? It'd be like asking Katie Price for her 10 favourite ways to punch Frankie Boyle. My guest tonight is a phenomenal stand-up, a panel show prince, and a creator of his own brilliant sitcom, Not Going Out.
Daisy left her coat, by the way.
Talking of coats, what are you wearing? You look like two dwarfs with one cinema ticket.
Hello, why we're listening to the French, I'll never know. I've never trusted the French of you. The things they do to us, the French. Writing C on the hot tap. C for cold, F for fucking hot, and they swap it around. I'm not idiots. And they nick all our words, don't they? Like bananas. What do? Get rid of the letter B, call them ananas. And they're horrible. They taste like pineapples.
Please welcome Lee Mack. What's that? Yeah, just easy down there. You all right? Lee Mack, Lee Mack! Thank you very much.
That's nice, isn't it?
Oh. All right.
That's nice, isn't it?
Lee, hello.
It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Bill. And I've got some comic choices that I want to throw at you.
Have you?
No, I just wanted to sound professional.
Oh, yeah.
I want it to look like, you know, that's what they do on these things. There you go.
That's it, isn't it?
Like the Des O'Connor way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, I did Des. Did you ever
I've
do
done Des O'Connor, yeah.
The Des O'Connor show, and I remember on the Des O'Connor show, and I realised as soon as I went on it, well, A, it was probably a mistake, and B, he didn't look in your eye when he talked to you. Because he's looking at the water queue just off like that with all the questions on it. So I'd be talking to you like this, and he'd be looking over there like this.
Has no one ever told you about Des O'Connor's lazy eye?
Oh, now you tell me.
Yeah, that's awkward, isn't it?
Yes, it's an odd experience. Did you enjoy it, though? Do you enjoy those kind of chats?
Well, I do, but you see, what he's good at is he sets you up, doesn't he? So he'll say, he'll go, so I believe you just come back from Ireland, and then you do a routine about Ireland.
Right.
And everyone kept saying, well, that just looks cheesy. So I thought, if I go back on again, he's going to go, so I believe you've just come back from Holland. I was just going to go, no. No. We'll go, what about you? You've been to Holland. Put it back onto him, see how he likes it.
Yeah. See, the thing is, what I have to say, I really like Not Going Out. I thought it was a great sitcom. It's very funny, and a really high sort of gag rate. It really cracks along, and it sort of reminded me of a lot of American sitcoms.
Right. And
was that sort of a conscious thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because if people don't like the show, they will say it's got a high gag rate.
Right, yeah.
And if they love the show, they go, it's got a high gag rate. Yeah. So for some people, that's a problem. Some people like it for that reason.
No.
But it's totally... That was what we were trying to do. We watched American sitcoms and thought, why are they more successful than British sitcoms? We decided it was the gag rate, so we thought we'll have loads of gags. People said, what about character and depth? I said, I haven't got time for that.
No, but there is this characters, and there's a plot, and there's some interesting sort of dynamics between it, and that is essentially... that's the best you can get in a sitcom, surely.
Yeah, I think what I've got this obsession that there's too much naturalism in comedy, too much realism. So I've gone the opposite way to try and balance it up. I just like gags, you see. I like jokes. So, you know, we'll do a bit of... we'll do a bit of serious stuff, but not much, you know. Someone will come in and say, me nan's dead, you know. And then we'll do the gag, which... I didn't write it, but still my favourite gag of Not Going Out ever, which was Tim Vine says, my nan's dead. I said, oh, God, that's terrible. He says, yeah. Thought she was going to live till she was 100. And I said, were you close? He says, well, 93, only 7 years out.
Your first category is Best Male Comic.
Yes.
And your first nomination is...
My first nomination is Tommy Cooper.
Right.
Because, well, I think it's absolutely impossible not to find Tommy Cooper funny.
What's not to love then?
Some people have got faces... I mean this in a complimentary way. You've got the face of a man that couldn't do anything other than comedy. At the age of 18, anyone looking at Bill and going, gynaecologist, obviously. You don't want that coming up above the sheets, do you, going... Not looking good.
Oh, no.
Some people you just think are born to do comedy, and I think Tommy Cooper is the epitome of that.
All right, let's have a bit of Tommy Cooper. Here we are.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's stop. Thank you. I can always tell when orders are going to be good or bad. Good night. Spoon jar jar, spoon jar jar. Spoon jar jar, spoon. Stop. Stop! Well, pull it.
Great stuff, classic, isn't it? Great. I mean, it's sort of classic old school variety, but it's just timeless in a way, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, because the thing is, despite what anyone says about classic Tommy Cooper jokes, lots of Tommy Cooper's jokes weren't very good. Some of them were brilliant, but he was so funny as a bloke. Yeah. He made the number one rule, to me, the number one rule in comedy, which is your jokes can never be funnier than you.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of comedians who have brilliant material, but it's the material that's brilliant and they're not funny, but the material's very funny. I'm not going to name any names. They know who they are. You know who they are, don't you?
I know who they are. We know where they live.
Yeah.
Tommy Cooper, he was always one with sort of, you know, he performed the Royal Variety Show.
Yeah.
And there's a great moment where he's chats to the Queen. Was it the Queen Mother or something?
It was a Queen, yeah, it was a Queen.
He says to her, wasn't it?
That's
do
right.
you like football, Your Majesty? She goes, well, not really. And he said, well, can I have your cup final tickets? You know, I mean... Your next nomination is Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner, yes.
I did some of Frank's gigs. He actually ran a gig in Birmingham called at the Bearwood Tavern in the back of a pub.
I remember that, yeah.
And he was a brilliant compere, and he had a great banter with the audience. And he sort of like created his own sort of world in a way, really. It was his own style. It was kind of against the grain of the current crop of stand-ups.
Well, that's what I like him, because when you watch TV now and you see Frank's act, the material fits in with what other people are doing nowadays. That was not the case when Frank started out, was it?
No.
Because Frank was around in the late 80s when it was very political. You know, you had all these people bashing away at Thatcher, and then Frank coming on going, I do like a bit of anal sex.
Yeah.
The other thing I decided I had to change when I got to 50 was my lifestyle on the sexual front, right? Because I'll be honest with you, when I used to tour in the old days, I used to put myself about a bit. You know what I mean? I used to have a lot of one-night stands and stuff like that. I'm not proud of it. Well, I'm a little bit proud of it, I suppose. Or I wouldn't be telling you. But I thought, for a 50-year-old man, I'm right, Gene, it's not very dignified, is it? No, yeah, you're right. What does that mean? I should be beheaded for it. That's a little harsh. No, so I've stopped doing the one-night stands. I just think it's wrong for a 50-year-old man. I also found with the one-night stands, and there'll be people here who do one-night stands. I'm not condemning you, but don't you find this? The very second, this is what I find, the very second I completed the act, I wanted them to go. I'd sort of be going, get out. You can't treat people like that. It's not right.
I love it. Yeah.
And I was going to say there that Frank was quite a sort of a late arrival in comedy. He didn't actually start doing stand-up till a bit later on.
In his 30s, I think,
yeah. And was that the same with you? You
I
sort
was
of started
quite
doing...
late, I suppose. I was 20... I think I was 26 or something like that.
That's quite late to these days,
These
isn't it?
days, I'd be retired at 26, wouldn't I?
You kind of did various other jobs before you got to comedy. So, I mean, I was the same. But up to that point, you'd kind of done all kinds of things. You know, you'd just done odd jobs.
Well, I'd left school... I left school in a Dickensian way at 15. At 15, I wanted to be a stand-up. I made that decision.
Right.
Well, I wanted to be a comedian. I didn't quite know what it meant. But I had 11 years of waiting to be one.
And you sort of did, like, jobs like you were a fruit picker and a bingo caller and you were a jockey. I mean, when I say jockey, you worked in the...
I was a stable boy.
Equestrian...
I went into it because I'd left school. I didn't know... I thought, I'm going to be a comedian, but I don't know how I'm ever going to do that.
Right.
So, in the meantime, I'll become a professional sportsman. Because that's what you're doing it. So I watched the telly. I thought, what sport can you do where you've never started it till you're 14 or 15? Yeah. Horse racing.
Horse racing, of course.
Because surely the horse does all the work. That's what I thought at 15.
Yeah.
So luckily, Red Rum was in my hometown, so I went and worked at the stables of Red Rum. But I realised very quickly you don't be a jockey straight away.
No.
You have to do all sorts of hideous jobs before you get to that stage, like wipe things, you know.
Yeah.
Wipe his backside. Trust me, that was the most pleasurable bit of the wiping process.
Oh.
There's other things you have to clean as well.
Oh, what? All the...
Right in there with a sponge.
And you have to winkle it out.
You just get your sponge in there, clean the end of it, sponge out, sponge out. But the problem is, I was fortunate enough to meet Frankie Dettori once and told him that story. And he went, What? Somebody's winding you up. You'd have to do that to us.
OK, your next nomination for male comic...
Yes.
...is Ben Elton.
Yes.
Now, this is an interesting one.
It is an interesting one, because I thought... my all-time comedy hero is Eric Morecambe.
Yep.
And I thought, well, obviously, I'm going to put Eric in as number 3.
OK.
He's got to be there. But then I thought, do you know what? I might use my vote to actually big up somebody that I think is overly criticised.
Right.
And that's where Ben Elton fits in.
Right.
Actually, now, it used to be that a few comics criticised him, but now everyone's joining in, and I think
it became a sort of... It became a kind of a sort of whipping boy for the press.
The argument people always say for not liking Ben Elton is that he was a left-wing comic, used to be anti-establishment, and he was part of that whole alternative punk era of comedy, and now he's part of the establishment, and he's cavorting with Andrew Lloyd Webber, who votes for the Tories. Which, to me, just sounds bonkers, because for many reasons. One, you can't not work with someone just because of their political beliefs. I mean, look at me sitting here with you now. And you've got some very extreme political beliefs,
I have indeed.
Yeah.
I'm on the Barnell Trust, you know, so...
Some people criticise him, like Anne Robinson, and I think, what the fuck are you... What have you given to popular culture that you can criticise the bloke that wrote Blackadder and The Young Ones?
Yes, exactly.
And she said because he was in the Royal Variety Show.
Oh, for goodness sake.
You know, she more than anyone should understand the concept of it's an act. I mean, when she goes to the butcher's, you know, I'm sure when she says very politely and nicely, can I have a pound of mince and some sausages, they don't go, you hypocrite. The least you can do is walk in here and go, who's going to serve me? Is it you fat bastard?
Let's have a look at a bit of Ben Elton.
Apparently, the best gag in Britain today is something I'll never have, so I'll never be a really hot comedian. Because it's big tits. Tits, tits, tits! Best gag in the world. We must have about 150 pairs in the audience tonight. Why aren't you wetting yourselves, eh? Dear me, ladies, how do you get up in the morning, eh? You must die in the bathroom mirror. Up comes your nightdress. There's my tits, eh? Oh, best gag of the day. These, look at these. Wish I were my doctor, eh? I wouldn't get many of these to the pound, would I? Brilliant. I know why most of the women are not in the good jobs in this country. You're all sat at home laughing at your tits, aren't you, eh? Sexism in comedy and everywhere else. Let's try and get together and get rid of it. My name's Ben Elton. Goodbye.
Yeah, you see that? I'm not going to lie. That's the bit I didn't like at the end, when he said sexism in comedy, let's get rid of it. I mean, let's keep some of it.
Yeah, keep a bit of it.
Yeah, sexism is a bit funny, isn't it, you know?
Yeah.
Big tits, they are funny, aren't they?
Yeah. People are going, no, yeah, he's right, he had a point.
But the thing is, I can see why people would criticise him, but they're wrong.
What I think is, I really admire about him is he's very prolific. You know, right, stand-up, sitcom, any number of books, and then, you know, musical. So he's kind of across all these different sort of genres. And I think it sort of slightly unfairly got tarred with this kind of label of being a sellout. You know, and you kind of think, it wouldn't happen today. If he was doing this kind of stuff today, nobody would bother.
Cool. I think they just bought into it. I think they believed him. I thought they genuinely believed he was a political person more than a comedian.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you for your best male comic, and who would that be?
It's going to have to be Tommy Cooper.
Yeah. Best male comic, Tommy Cooper. Here we go.
Look, see that glove? Second hand.
See you after the break for more of Lee Mack's Comics Choice.